Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CTN Community Update. The temporary repairs to the closed section of westbound Main Street got underway this week, and we're learning the roadway will reopen earlier than planned. On Thursday, the Anoka County Highway Department poured concrete for the bridge deck span, which had failed. The discovery was made in January by a County Highway Department employee. Westbound County Road 14 has been closed since that time between Shenandoah Boulevard and Coon Creek Boulevard. Crews are using high early concrete, which sets faster than conventional concrete, so the road can reopen to traffic sooner. But it's just a temporary fix due to the cold weather. The county plans to do a permanent repair sometime this summer.
And the ultimate fix will not just deal with this part of the bridge. Essentially, we have this type of detail, joint detail. There's 5 expansion joints of this type on this bridge. We're going to want to do a remediation on all of those locations.
Warming blankets are being used to help speed up the curing time for the new concrete. Officials hope to reopen the roadway in mid-March, several weeks earlier than originally planned. Again, permanent repairs will take place this summer, but those details are still being worked out. Anoka County Sheriff James Stewart announced this week that he plans to seek a 3rd term as the county's top cop. Stewart, who was first elected back in 2010, says it's been a privilege to serve the citizens of Anoka County and says he looks forward to the opportunity for continued service. In addition to helping develop numerous anti-heroin initiatives and exposing the secret world of human trafficking, Stewart says he remains a strong advocate to end domestic and sexual violence, as well as protecting the elderly. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension released its annual Permit to Carry report this week. Last year, sheriff's departments across the state issued around 55,000 gun permits to Minnesota residents. That's down significantly from the 71,000 permits issued in 2016. Here in Anoka County, about 4,000 gun permits were issued, the second most of any county in the state. Hennepin County was first. 2 of the nation's leading gun retailers announced big changes this week in the wake of last month's deadly school shooting. Dick's Sporting Goods says it will no longer sell assault-style rifles and is banning the sale of all guns to anyone under the age of 21. Walmart also announced it will no longer sell firearms or ammunition to people younger than 21. Both announcements came on the same day as students returned to class at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. More students than ever before are donning a cap and gown here in Minnesota, and the greatest gains are among students of color. CTN's Jennifer Anderson is here now with a look at the numbers. And Jennifer, they show that high school graduations are up across the state.
They are, Steve. That's right. The Department of Education reports that more students crossed that high school finish line in 2017 than ever before, which is why 2017 was a record-setting year for Minnesota graduates. The average high school grad rate increased steadily during the past 5 years, with an average rate of more than 82% statewide last year. Anoka Hennepin fared even better, where a little more than 83% graduated in 2017. And in Coon Rapids, the graduation rate was 84.5%. Anoka Hennepin Superintendent David Law says while the student body became almost 10% more diverse, their grad rates increased almost 10% as well.
As we're getting increasingly diverse, we're becoming more successful with our students. And I think part of that has to do with kids feeling welcome in our school system and kids feeling connected. The trick isn't really a trick, it's what's always worked in school, build relationships.
Superintendent Law says great gains have been made specifically among the African American population, as well as students on the free and reduced lunch program. Steve, their philosophy is to try to cluster students. They say finding students that are grouped together by similar interests, similar needs, makes these very large schools feel smaller and more personal.
I'm sure that's good, and the students can do a better job there as well. By the way, welcome.
Thank
you.
you.
To have you here.
I'm glad to be here. This is a fun new step, and I hope to bring a lot of good stories to the screen.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Some good news this week when it comes to the state budget. The latest forecast has lawmakers seeing green. A surplus of $329 million is now projected for the 2018-2019 biennium. That's a big change from just a few months ago when a $188 million deficit was projected. Changes to federal tax code along with the reauthorization of funding for the state Children's Health Insurance Program helped bring the budget forecast back in the black. Governor Dayton plans to unveil his budget proposal on March 15th. The 2018 legislative session is set to end on May 21st. Anoka County is spending some money on improvements at Bunker Beach. The county board recently awarded a contract for the work to Fisher Brothers in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin for just over $300,000. The project involves repainting the towers and slides at the water park, along with smoothing the fiberglass surface to prevent cracking. The work is expected to begin in the spring and be finished before the park opens in June. It's being funded through the Bunker Beach Water Parks Reserve Fund. We're still months away from ideal swimming conditions, but that didn't stop hundreds of people from taking a dip in Crooked Lake last weekend to raise money for Special Olympics Minnesota. CTN's Dan Carpenter has more from this year's Polar Plunge.
Everybody's nervous.
In late February, this crowd is going for a swim.
Everybody's a little bit scared, but you know that you're going to come out on the other side of it okay.
A polar plunge awaits them, something they signed up for.
It's the biggest fundraiser for Special Olympics Minnesota.
Participants raised a minimum of $75 to do this. Many group donations totaled in the thousands of dollars.
We take the jump into the water every year, and that is exhilarating and uplifting, and it is really fun to see that us doing this is making a life change for the athletes.
The money raised here supports athletic events for 150 athletes in Anoka County and many more statewide year-round.
This is, for many of them, the one time a week they can come in, be with the peers, people with similar abilities, etc., and be able just to enjoy life without having any of those social pressures or discriminations against them.
Good job.
In all, there are 24 polar plunges in Minnesota this winter. Combined, they're raising millions.
I think that it is part of being a true Minnesotan to jump in that water, and it is so exhilarating.
An experience that can change lives
Really cold.
and leave these polar plungers coming back for more.
But once they do it, they want to come back the next year.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
This year, 575 people participated in the Polar Plunge, raising more than $154,000. Donations will be split between Special Olympics Minnesota and its Anoka County chapter. Here's a sign spring can't be too far off. The 20th annual North Suburban Home Improvement Show is coming up on Saturday, March 10th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Andover YMCA Community Center. In addition to 100+ exhibitors, there will be a do-it-yourself workshop and demonstrations. Representatives from local cities will also be on hand. Admission is free, but you're asked to bring a non-perishable item for the ACBC food shelf. And if that's not enough to make you think spring, this definitely will. The driving range at Bunker Hills Golf Club opens at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And with high temperatures approaching 50 this weekend, it should be a busy place. No reservations are required for the driving range, which actually opened in January last year. No word yet on when the actual course will open for the season, but it's a big year at Bunker Hills. The golf course turns 50 on July 8th, and some special events are being planned to mark the golden milestone. Good to see people able to get back out there on the course this weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll see you back here again next week.